Hello, this is Monovoxel again, and here to show you how to build this furnace array. As you see, you start with some building blocks, lots of netherite. If you don't have, use ancient debris. Then the hoppers, the furnaces, some pressure plate, basic redstone, and then a glass and some sand to plant our cactus, or placeholder items like apples, and then 1819 cactus green, and then our cactus. First, we will start from our block of netherite, placing 4 blocks in a row on the side. Then turn a corner and start placing down hoppers as we want our furnaces will be. We use between 12 and most of 20 furnaces. Then we take our pressure plates and place them in front of the hopper we placed first, in front of where our furnaces will be. These are in order to collect the XPs. It's now time to place the furnaces. But on the outer side of our row. In order to do this, we will dig a hole 5 by 5 and 4 blocks deep. We will start with our super blocks. And then we will go downstairs and try to make a hopper below the corner one, facing into the netherite block you see, so away from our machine. Then we'll put another hopper below the first one, facing into a dropper facing downwards, and place our 2 hoppers, one pointing into it and the one above it pointing on the netherite block. And this is how we'll be wiring up our dropper with redstone, a repeater, obviously, and then a little staircase. Then we will place our cactus right down below the dropper, sorry. So we dig a hole, we put the sand, we make room for the cactus, then we will make the circuit. So we will make this cross-shaped with a nail in the corner and empty in the middle. Okay. We took a comparator, we put it to compare out from the hopper, then 2 pieces of redstone dust and a repeater in the empty hole below. And then we will put a torch in the block right next to it, blocking the hopper above it. That's important. What now happens is that containing 18 of our filtering item and 4 placeholders, items which are never meant to be passing in the line above the horizontal one, this will give a signal strength of 1 from the comparator, which when an furthermore item comes in, unlocks the second bit of the redstone dust, actually transmitting the signal that unlocks the hopper below and passing the filtered items through it into the dropper, which will destroy it. Then we case everything in. So after having wired it up and powered it, it's time to build our fuel line behind the furnaces. We will start placing some super block below where the droppers will be, facing in direction. Then we will place droppers above it. Then we walk over this line we just made and place 2 hoppers in front of any of the droppers pointing into the furnace, like this. Now we will place a line of hoppers more behind the droppers. What it actually shows here is that we could even use droppers in that line I'm pointing, but they will interfere with the redstone line. We can activate this way, but I prefer to use hoppers on the second line instead of droppers here. So forget about the little blocks and just fill up with repeaters back of our line. Then wire all the map with redstone dust. Obviously, redstone dust won't suffice to get 16 blocks, so after 15 or less of the row, we must repeat the signal. And I leave it to 1 tick delay. I'm setting up here 3 now, but I'll suggest it put to 1 of delay. We'll see it later. Then proceed with the hoppers and same. Then back on the beginning of the row hoppers, we place some support blocks that we break later, and we place another stream of hoppers pointing horizontally, and same on the other part. We'll place 8 hoppers in each side pointing through the side of the whole machine. Break support blocks. And then as you see, we have 2 streams from the middle going through the sides. We will build 2 water streams leading into the middle hoppers, and then the middle hoppers taking all our items to the sides, so that we actually have a cycle. Build 2 items cycling water streams that first feed the hopper lines that are needed. Then we place a nice block and we fill these streams from below. On the other side, then we fly over and we put our signs where we want the water to stop. Remember, leave a like. And guess what I'm gonna write here? Let's place our water buckets. 2, 3, and 4. And here is our fuel bamboo distribution system, bamboo friendly, because it's very fast to distribute. Done and dusted. As you see, water streams pointing inwards the machine above, and hopper lines pointing the sides of the machine below, cycling the items between the hoppers below, leading into the droppers, and then into another hoppers and into the furnaces. Now time for the material feeding line. Here's the material we need to. First, hoppers. A lot of hoppers and blocks and slabs of 2 different colors, basic redstone, target blocks, and support blocks. Let's go. First, we need hoppers pointing downwards. High row. Like that. Then we will fly back to the beginning and place a support block at this side, shift clicking. This block will sustain a comparator, and then an horizontal row of hoppers pointing into the comparator. The circuit we will be building now is the one that locks the first row above of the vertical hoppers. Exactly. Here we go outside 6 blocks, and on the 6th blocks we go backwards, and then we repeat this module At steps of every 2 blocks, there's one coming outside to the back of the machine. Then we'll use slabs to fill the spaces in between one and one left blank. We'll shove some redstone dust, and the 7th block from the beginning of the row we'll change it with a target block, as we see. So make that since every repeater on the line there are 7 steps of redstone before the target block or the next repeater. Each repeater has to be set with 3 ticks of delay. Then we build the circuitry up, which will lock the hopper stream, horizontal one above, or at least will block the first hopper distributing items into this line. And it will have to do every 10 seconds, exactly the working time of a furnace. We put an inverter. And not the gate. Then we continue our stream of hoppers to the side of the machine, and we put at least 3 hoppers more so that we can go locking this line at the second hopper after the one over the furnace. The same on the other side, locking the second hopper after the first common to the line. Then we switch to our slabs and use the slabs to connect the previous line to the blocks without touching the hoppers and locking the hoppers below. Here you see a sketch of how it's made at the end. Slabs, full blocks, redstone, redstone. And now we will build the feed line for our ores and the force reset circuit. In order to do this, we will need some more blocks. The hoppers, okay, but a dropper, a sticky piston, a lever, 2 levers, some basic redstone as always, trapped chest and normal chest, some slabs and its block variant, glass, soul sand, and the water bucket for our water. So let's take away the kryptonite block and put our normal chest there. Then we take our soul sand and put it right there at the side of the last hopper. Then we switch to glass and begin to build our water column. Then put a normal chest and the hopper above it. We proceed placing our at least 3 or 4 hoppers pointing into the last one we placed. This is because in our material chest we have 52 slots, and so when it loads all the materials into the water column, we must have a space above to store all that material. Because with 16 furnaces, it smelts 7.5, 7.5 stacks in the 5 minutes they take to disappear. Then we have the measure, and we can encase all our water stream. Now let's take our water bucket and diving into the column, we start placing water sources. Will flow to the last of the hoppers, in a way similar that we do for the fuel bamboo line. cycles items. Now, it would have been a good idea to put this dropper facing towards the water column before actually putting in place the water column. Then we place a hopper facing into the dropper placed just ago, and then the dropper chest above. A midnight block beside it, and then a lever on it. Circuitry behind is made like this. You can see we put a piston, wire it up to the lever with a repeater. Another block and the lever. Then we wire up to the ground, heavy circuit. Then we go up where the two fins meets, and we realize the part that will lock the cactus input while our OR's input is functioning. In order to do this, we place a observer and then a repeater facing into the hopper we want to lock, the one with the cactus. Then we go for the general on-off switch on a line of glass tubes. We make a staircase up and we connect to the same block than before, the one blocking the cactus line. What we do now is to build a rapid tick pulser in order to activate all our mechanisms. In a way, we see this is a 6 tiles circuit with 2 repeaters pointing in opposite direction and making a closed circuit with 1 tick delay each, and we wire it up to the circuitry behind is droppers, the dropper for the cactus green, and the dropper for our ores to the upper column. We activate it with an observer in the way we see. When we break the first one, the second lights up and you can remove it. We want to set a 3 tick delay on the cactus green destroyer filter and 1 tick delay or no tick delay on the other two as an acoustic warning. Then what we will have to do is to load some cactus in the machine and the fuel in order to try it out, and it's a long process. See, load all the cactus until the last hopper, the line that is loaded. Then do the same with bamboo, and believe me, it's a long process to fill them up manually. To the quantity of material held into the circuit line is not the actual point of force distributing the bamboo fast enough. Thanks for patience, it's almost done. What we have to obtain is that the line on blue above locks the input of the materials, the cactus and other ores, for 10 exact seconds, a little less, but an exact amount, in order to make one piece enter in the furnace just when the one before is melted and is going to leave. In order to do this, we have the blue line locking above, and we have to set some delay on that line in order to enlarge the during of the pulse. So we need a circuit that is called a pulse extender. We add a circuit with 2 comparators that cycles the input signal until it is strong enough to reach the light in this case. You see, it took a bit longer to get on. This is what a pulse extender does. There are many little tweaks we can add to it in order to make the pulse longer. And one of these is add a block on the corner to lose one, mm, one unity of power less at every cycle the current goes into the circuit. And the other are to set some repeaters, not for the delay, but for the repeating and amplification of the signal, which enters this circuit stronger and leaves it with less power in order to get to the output mechanism, light in this case. Here we see also that we can adjust more precisely with the delay on the repeaters themselves. Okay, after explaining the circuit and what it's for and how it works, I'll show you the exact configuration for 16 furnaces I chosen. You can copy it as long as you understood how it works and you're able to set it by yourself. There is one tick more added to the bamboo circuit for a reason we have seen, to resync the whole furnaces when CACTUS are going on. So here's a picture from above of how you should set the circuit for 16 furnaces. Here you see the 16 furnaces array I showed you in the last video, but here behind I made one as a proof of concept that has 20 furnaces. I added 4 more furnaces to the build I showed you, and here you can see from above the circuitry, the delay circuit above, how I've set it for 20 furnaces, plus obviously the tick more at the end of the line where the CACTUS came in. You can see from behind the feed line for the bamboo, the circuit below, in order to don't create a loop. It's just longer than 15. So this should be everything for today. I think I talked enough, and also for the last month I've been working on this and understanding the problem behind the bamboo feeding, the timing, in order to take you something cool, something useful, and even if instructions are not so clear, I can understand. I hope to have give you the instruments to understand what's behind the furnaces, how it exactly works, and can at least tweak one yourself. So here is my Steve saying you goodbye, and see you to the next overcomplicated by me redstone creations.